The K-Files is brought to you by John Barnes Electric, your full-service electrical company, serving Rocky Mount and surrounding areas. Locally owned, locally recommended, available 24/7. Call today for a free estimate, 442-7002, 442-7002.
And good morning. Welcome to the K-Files. In the jump seat with me this morning, we've got Mayor Owen Strickland, Chairman of the Nash County GOP. Good morning, sir.
Are we driving a Model T?
Not yet.
Okay. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Good to see you. If you're just tuning in, we just had Nash County Board of Education member on, Ricky Jenkins, a great guy, former Sheriff Dick Jenkins. It's his son, and he just announced that he was basically pretty much going to run for Nash County Clerk of Court.
Can't get much higher than 90-10.
We wish him luck. We wish him luck on that. Also, we talked briefly about the sheriff being recognized at the county commissioner meeting. He was recognized by the state of North Carolina of having set a new gold standard for how school resource officers should be trained across the state. You know, school security and school resource officers is a top priority for the sheriff. You know,
and from the sounds of it, it's a very, very, very high priority with the board as well, Board of Education as well.
Yeah.
And that's really positive because we've, you know, too many things happen that shouldn't.
Well, I know that Freddie Howell, Commissioner Howell, and I know Frank Lamb have talked, and there's been an effort, and I've talked about it on the show before, to put a school resource officer in every Nash County school, whether it be elementary, whether it be middle, whether it be high school, to find funding to put law enforcement in every school.
Yeah, and that's very beneficial. To the schools. It's, you know, it's a value. You know, we do it in High Point. Yeah, we do it in Bailey, and
I think Franklin County does it.
And we actually, our officers patrol the school during the day and things like that. So
also, I saw in the paper this morning, shout out to Sheriff Clee Atkinson over in Edgecombe County. Former trooper, retired trooper. He was just named first vice president of the North Carolina Sheriff's Association. So again, shout out to Edgecombe County Sheriff Clee Atkinson on being named to that. That is a big deal.
That's a big honor.
It is, and it carries a lot of weight.
Because those folks are, you know, that's a pretty tight group.
Yeah.
You know, and they are recognizing his abilities, obviously.
And I also see where North Carolina has a new interim U.S. attorney, W. Ellis Boyle. I saw a picture of him with Sheriff Keith Stone in the paper. So shout out to him. Congratulations on that. And
Sheriff Stone spoke very highly of him in his interview with that newspaper. You know, that's a lot of times in law enforcement, you know, when I was a probation officer, we worked with the U.S. attorney. We worked with our district attorney as well. But the U.S. attorney has a lot more, can get a lot more teeth into an individual that is a one person or two person crime spree.
Guns, gangs, and drugs.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing was, did you see on the news where the Kinston police officer was arrested and charged with larceny? He basically was caught taking cash from people involved in an accident. He was arrested and placed under a $5,000 bond. I can't imagine that. I know years ago when I first got in law enforcement, they taught us, you know, if you stop somebody, and a lot of people get nervous, you know.
Oh, yeah.
They'll just hand you their wallet.
Yeah, no.
Do not touch their wallet.
Right, yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I've had people try to hand me their wallet because they were nervous.
Right, yeah.
You know, sir, open your wallet, take out your all I want is your driver's license and your vehicle registration.
Yeah, I would do field contacts in High Point, and most of the time I worked by myself for a lot of it, and you know, you do a field contact and you pat somebody down. We had some ability that regular law enforcement didn't have, and I made them put it on the hood of my car. You know, and generally speaking, if I'm working in an area where a High Point police officer saw me, they would back me up, and they said, "Why is all that money on the hood of your car?" I'm like, I don't want to have. I want it out where everybody can see it and it don't get moved.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's like if I was going to place a suspect under arrest. You know, I wanted them in front of my car, so that the camera would capture my hands on them. It would capture me going in their pocket. It would capture me emptying their pocket. Because I didn't want there to be any question if anyone were to review, if anybody were to accuse me of such.
Right.
You know.
And of course, mine was pre-body cam days, and pre-car cam days.
But you know, I'm glad, if it's true, if this officer did these things, I'm glad he was arrested.
Oh yeah.
And I hope he's held accountable for that. I mean, it gives law enforcement a bad name. It's sad that it happened. Yeah. Again, if it's true, I hope he's held accountable and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
It tarnishes the badge.
It does, man, I swear. Did you see, I hate to say it, on Facebook, where a Nash County employee has been accused of using a speaker to transmit a barking dog noise?
My wife
to harass neighbors?
My wife told me that last night, and I was like, are you sure it was a county employee? And she said, yeah. And I was like, okay.
Have you heard any other details on it?
Not a whole lot. It sounds to me, and this is an opinion, this is my opinion section. It sounds to me like a neighbor-to-neighbor dispute.
Oh.
That's what it's. I mean, that's the gist I got of it.
Right.
Apparently, two neighbors don't particularly care for each other, or something along that lines. And there was you've heard the term swatting. It's really swatting light. It's very light.
Gotcha.
You know, the allegedly person used a speaker to draw a response to a neighbor because they didn't particularly care for the neighbor. That's what it sounds like. That may not be it exactly, but that's what it sounds like.
Okay.
My wife keeps up with stuff like that.
All right.
She watches Facebook really close.
The Nash County Jail situation, I think it's coming back to the forefront.
Uh-oh. Should I say uh-oh?
It seems that, you know, there was an effort to build a new jail complex just a few years ago, and the sheriff went to them and said, look, you know, we're almost at a crossroads where this is going to be an issue, and, you know, it was shot down.
Yeah, and those things.
So
are
now it's too well. See, the problem comes from the fact that the jail was built. Let's just say it was built 40 years ago, And then they wanted to add on, so they built another jail around it. And then years later, they built a jail around it.
Right.
So now you've got a jail surrounded by a jail, surrounded by a jail, surrounded by a jail.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of people to maneuver it because it's
The interconnections between the facilities don't necessarily match up. Is that what we're
well, I
sorta
mean,
kinda-
it's just it's a mess, is what it is. It's a mess.
It's kind of like a maze in there.
And there comes a certain point in time where you need to just erase the board and start, from scratch.
But we had
And
a high
I think the
rise.
jail is full.
Oh,
And I think it's to the point now where Nash County taxpayers are having to pay for 10, 20 inmates a day in surrounding counties because the powers that be didn't listen to the sheriff a few years ago when he was sounding the alarm.
Yeah.
The jail we have issues and we're going to run out of space.
Right.
And now they've run out of space.
Right.
And it's, when you go to talking about $100 to $150 a day to house an inmate out of county,
Yeah.
it doesn't sound like a lot of money, but when you go to thinking it's 10, 20, 30, 40 inmates a day at $150 a head, that's a lot of money, man.
And just so the general public understands, if you build a jail that has capacity, the federal government
We'll pay you.
will pay you
$100,
X
$150.
number of dollars.
That's
I don't know
exactly
what that
right.
figure is at
Yeah.
this point, but they will pay you to hold federal prisoners. And you can offset. You're not ever going to offset the whole cost, so don't even go to. Don't even call and say, "Hey, they'll never do that." You're right. They won't ever offset the whole cost. However, it will help the bottom line a lot.
But we talk about cases in this book. We talk about holding people accountable for their actions, getting them off the streets, locking them up, holding them. Well, if you don't have nowhere to put them, I got breaking news for you. An administrative decision is going to have to be made to turn these people back on the street.
Yeah.
You've got to. You can't overcrowd because
That's
it's illegal.
That's a civil rights violation.
Okay, so this is where people didn't listen to the sheriff, and it's going to end up coming back and haunting them, and it's going to end up putting public safety of Nash County citizens at risk again unnecessarily, and it irks me from a law enforcement perspective.
Now, do sheriffs?
And this ain't the sheriff's fault. I mean, he was the one who sounded the alarm and said, "Look, this is coming."
Yeah, we all have our opinions, and we all have some general knowledge. Are we all perfect with our knowledge? No, we're not. However, if the person has been in the job more than 15 minutes, they tend to know a little bit about what they need
Yeah.
better than folks that have never worn a badge or whatnot.
Well, look, let's take a real quick break. We're going to pay some bills, and stay tuned. We'll be right back right after these messages.
The K-Files is brought to you by John Barnes Electric, your full-service electrical company, serving Rocky Mount and surrounding areas. Locally owned, locally recommended, available 24/7. Call today for a free estimate, 442-7002, 442-7002.
J.P. Barnes is trying to get a little bit something going on here.
Yeah, leave it to me now.
It's always, he's a busy man, okay? It happens. So, but on Monday night, our police chief in Bailey, we've started getting him to, he has a certain philosophy about law enforcement, and that's everybody has their own. And we have started him giving a brief synopsis of what goes on in Bailey.
Did you ever ask him about the 2 cold cases?
The one that you asked me about, that was a case on what we call Brock Circle. I don't know if that's actual. It may be Brock Street. It could be Brock Lane or whatever.
And he was saying that he did remember more.
No,
he did.
there was not. There was no, that we know of, there was not a cold case of that type, which was, we were talking about, it was a murder from either the high 70s or low 80s. In that general area, and that we know of, we can't find one. Now, that don't mean it didn't occur, but we've had several chiefs and
see, I would have been a child.
Yeah, and I would have too.
Do you
I would have been an
remember
older child than he is, obviously.
Do you remember the little girl, like elementary school age? She would have been our age, that got killed selling Girl Scout cookies. They're on Pine Street,
Yeah, well,
about where Kelly Lamb grew up.
well, no, I don't.
The mom,
but I should, because I don't live but about 5
that's
doors
right.
from them.
Yeah. But it happened like right there. The mom had stopped, and back then, there was little to no traffic.
Oh yeah.
And the little girl got out and shot
like that now.
and darted out from behind the car, and
I think I do remember that.
this would have been like 81, 82,
Yeah.
80, something like that. Anyway,
that particular street, that's Pine Street.
Yeah.
For everybody's knowledge, that is a state road. It is actually the road that the elementary school is on, and it's a 35 zone. And I live nearly on the border of the town, and I've told our police department that if you really want to write tickets, if that's your thing, feel free to sit in my driveway, because you can get folks 20 over real easy.
one of my neighbors
But
was.
they don't do that. They don't do targeted stuff like that, and that's part of being a small town law enforcement agency. You don't want to target folks. Now, that don't mean we want you to speed, and you will get caught eventually. But we don't tend to sit up and target folks.
I never tried to target or set up at a speed limit sign.
Right.
I think that's bad business. I always tried to work where crash data sent me.
Yeah.
Not where I could write a lot of tickets. If I saw an intersection or a road or a curve that I kept seeing, that I kept having to work a wreck, that's where I steered my enforcement activity, and that was to change a behavior.
Well, certainly.
Not, hey, I need to write 5 tickets today. I'm gonna go to the school zone and write 25 MPH.
Yeah. Are you working the violation of the law of speeding? Yes. But you are really targeting.
You are.
The end result of the speeding, which is the automobile accident, the 1050 PD, PI, whatever it is, and that's we had I keep going back to High Point, and I'm sorry, I apologize. I do know what the southern end of the county looks like. I have been, I grew up here, but my formative years were in Guilford County, and we had a lot. We were busy, and we had a traffic division in High Point. That's all they did. Every car theirs was unmarked. One of my closest friends had a grandma, we called it Grandma Green, Crown Victoria, and he could write any ticket he wanted, because nobody knew that he was a cop, because that car color was so ugly. But, you get a black patrol car. Oh yeah, it's a cop. Well, this guy, literally drove a Grandma Green.
See, I had a marked what's called slick top, so I didn't have a bar light on my car.
Right.
So if you were like on the interstate behind me, you didn't know I was in a patrol car.
Right.